What's up, Memphis? It's Tuesday, and I am back on the radio. Welcome to Soul with Coach Karen. I am Coach Karen, and I'm glad you are here with me, whether you're on the radio or on the Voice of SCS website or on Facebook Live. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to all the teachers and administrators who are getting settled into the new school year. Thank you for all you do. This hour is just for you. Shout out to last week's guests, Monroe Ballard and Jerry Davis, who gave voice to our topic, Lift as We Climb, from a male perspective. It was a pleasure to have them on SOAR. I felt like Chick-fil-A. It was my pleasure to have them on SOAR. If you missed it, check it out on Facebook Live. Your blessing might be in the rewind. If this is your first time tuning in, I am Coach Karen. Some of you know me as Coach Karen, Pastor Karen, or simply Karen, or some of you don't know me at all. But as I always say, if you get close enough and listen long enough, I promise something will happen that can change your life. I'm an author, a speaker, a certified professional coach, pastoral counselor, doctoral student, but most importantly, I'm a mom, a daughter, a sister, and a friend. Join my Facebook page at Coach Karen Todd or the website, CoachKaren.com. 2 R's in Karen, one for real and one for relevant. Listen, SOAR with Coach Karen is all about inspiration and motivation for your lunch hour. SOAR stands for Success Over and Above Reason, because when you tap into the best version of yourself, you open the door to have success in every area of your life. And today, I'm excited about today. We are talking about reaching our sisters as we continue to blaze the path to success. Also on the way is the raspberry letter segment. Why is the letter raspberry? Because the strawberry letter was taken, and that could be copyright infringement. So I decided to add a little flavor to my letter and make it raspberry. So you don't want to miss the letter. Neither do you want to miss what my guest has to say about it. Speaking of guests, on Soul with Coach Karen, we pride ourselves on having some of the best voices in our community to bring us up to speed on any topic, and today is no exception. In the building today, I have Cherisse Scott. She has been in the reproductive justice movement for over 10 years. Now, this is a short bio that I'm about to read because I saw the long bio.
Yes.
But I want to read the short one so that we can have the discussion about the long one. Okay. So she's been in the reproductive justice movement for over 10 years. She is the founder and CEO of Sister Reach, which is based here in Memphis, Tennessee. Sister Reach works from a 3-pronged strategy of education, policy, and advocacy and culture change work. So under Scott's leadership, under Cherisse's leadership, under her leadership, Sister Reach has released several research reports, including their 2015 report on the need for comprehensive sexuality education for Southern youth of color, and their most recent report on the impact of the fetal assault law on women with opioid usage disorder. We're going to talk about it all. Sister Reach is also touring the country training clergy and advocates with their reproductive justice and faith training curriculum, which I am interested in.
Okay.
So Ms. Scott has presented to the United Nations. Listen to me now. She has presented to the United Nations and is featured in the January 2018 edition of O Magazine. She's been recognized by Essence Magazine as one of their 2018 Woke 100. Woke 100. Lift your hands and say woke. And she's a sought out national speaker on reproductive justice and other human rights violations experienced by vulnerable Tennesseans. Welcome to the show, Cherisse.
Hey, I'm so glad to be here.
Man,
Thanks so much for having me here.
You don't even know. I'm so excited. It's just unnecessary how excited I am. So listen, I want you guys to tune in for the next hour. We're going to add some inspiration and motivation to your day with conversation and some good music. It's time for you to soar with Coach Karen on the only station you and your family can agree on, 88.5, the voice of SCS. We good? Okay. Kathy was over there clicking. She ain't saying nothing to me. Oh, see you.
Okay. Hey, Facebook. Cherisse Scott here. Excited to be here in the studio at 88.5 with Coach Karen. Going to be talking about the Memphis Soul Music Festival today. We're going to be talking about our reproductive justice and faith training that we've been doing around the country. We just finished one last week here in Memphis. We're going to be talking about a little bit more about our programs. We'll be talking about sex education. We'll be talking about a lot of different things. So just continue to tune in. We're excited to have you guys on. I think I'm going to try to get on. Also, here's Coach Karen.
Hey. How are you? Hey, Cynthia Daniels.
Yay, shout out to Cynthia Daniels and company, who also is our partner for the Memphis Soul Music Festival. And we're so excited to continue doing this amazing work together and to bring to Memphis something that we think is going to be amazing, something that we can offer every year. And then we're also going to talk even more about some of the work that's been going on, some of the things that you've seen Sister Reach in the news talking about. So, hey, now, Karen, I see you there. Thanks for coming in. I see you, Kim. I see a few more folks in there. So, yeah, please continue to tune in. And we're even going to even get a chance to play a little bit of my music on the radio station today. So, there folks here have the music, and we're excited to hear a little Cherisse music also as we get ready for the festival, because I'm going to also be performing, which is going to be fun. Looking forward to that. And so tune in. Just stay tuned. We're on break right now. I see you, Karen. Hey there.
You good? You need me for something else? You all right over there?
You talking to me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking for Cherisse on
Okay.
You know, pull up on
We got
YouTube. Yeah.
2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah,
And
definitely. R-I-S-S-E. 1 R, 2 S's.
Okay, 1 R.
I-S-S-E. Scott. There it is.
Okay.
So there's that's one CD there, and there's the Soul Journey. Oh yeah, I'm on Cafelli CD too. I forgot about that.
What was the one that you guys wanted to?
Another place?
Another place. That's on. Just take away the Scott and just put Cherisse. Maybe it'll come up just as that. I think it's just how I wrote them.
Oh, take out the Cherisse and just put Scott?
No, take out the Scott and just keep Cherisse.
Oh, all I have is Cherisse.
Okay. So click on one, and then it might actually give you, like, and other folks who listen to this have listened to da-da-da. I don't see it though, huh?
Well, we can do another.
Interesting.
Okay,
But either
which
way,
one
you
did
can play Hopeless off of there. It's pretty hot.
Hopeless?
Mhm.
Okay. We got 56 seconds.
Or Everywhere I Look, it's got a little bump to it too.
Okay.
Mhm.
Everywhere I look.
Mhm.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, and I'll
I got
introduce it
Minty.
later on.
Minty, we're coming up.
Hey,
Come back
Cheryl
with
Piggy's Crate.
Oh, come
It's
back.
like
Sister
the it's
girl.
like
What's
the
up, my
theme
sister?
song
Oh,
deal.
okay.
Like the
And I'm a Stevie head, so we can just listen to Stevie too. Works for
right.
me.
There we go. Okay, we got 29.
Yes. Why is this stuff like this? Cam Brown just said.
20. We are at 10.
Yeah, my little thing is
3,
behind.
2,
Hope y'all enjoy Labor Day.
1.
You are listening to Soar with Coach Karen here on WQOX 88.5 FM. It is time to soar with Coach Karen, but before you soar, you've got to jump. And today we're going to jump into a conversation about reaching our sisters. We want to encourage our sisters to take the action you need to get the results you want. So again, to my guest, Cherisse Scott, thank you for being here.
My pleasure to be here.
So this is what I want to do to kick off the conversation.
Okay.
And I'm just excited. So usually I have 2 guests, which if you listen all the time or if you watch all the time on Facebook Live, I have 2 guests.
Mm-hmm.
So this morning I got a little nervous. I was like, okay, I only have 1 guest. Am I going to be able to fill the hour? And as I was telling you, I want to tell the listeners, as I kept reading about what Cherisse does, who Cherisse is, what Cherisse stands for, I was like, this is divine.
Come on.
I don't need.
Come through, divine.
I want to be able. Because sometimes, because of the time, we do surface and we just run through it and get through it, but I get to do a deep dive today, so I'm
Awesome.
good. I'm cool with that. So tell the listeners what you do and what's the most fulfilling part about what you do.
So I have the honor of ensuring that women and girls of color, boys as well, young folks, elders, LGBT folks who are always on the margins have an opportunity at accessing their reproductive and sexual health information, education, contraception, info about their bodies. I'm also able to ensure that their voices are heard not only on the local level with elected officials, but on the state level and many times on the national level, because we do work across all of those spaces.
Right. Okay. So what's the most fulfilling part about that?
Knowing that a woman, especially, who is trying to figure out whether or not she wants to have a baby, has the tools to make those decisions without any type of a barrier, any type of harm.
Right.
That the folks that we serve can be self-determining, that they can, plan if they want to have a baby, if they don't, that they can, really make a plan, and it's not just something that kind of happens by chance. You don't know much about your body, and many of us don't, even grown folks, right?
Yeah,
And a lot of times I think that only young people are the only ones who don't understand about their bodies, but that's not true. That we've passed down this lack of information, generation to generation. And so knowing that somebody's life has changed because they've got access to that education, which is definitely the core of our work, makes my life awesome.
Wonderful, wonderful. So this is where I want to start. So I was introduced to you through Sister Reach.
Okay.
So I first want you to kind of tell us about Sister Reach. Tell us how Sister Reach came, into being. And I'm going to enjoy this ride as I get a little more information.
Awesome.
About Sister Reach.
Okay, so we founded in 2011 here in Memphis. After moving back here, my mother was ill and asked me to move home, and I did. But when I got here, I didn't see an organization like the one I was working for in Chicago, which is where I moved from.
Okay.
And though I was coming back to Memphis, I'm an Overton High School graduate. Went to Bellevue. Shout out OHS and Bellevue as well. But I got a chance to see that what I didn't necessarily see were women who looked like me leading work specific to folks' reproductive and sexual health.
Okay.
I saw some of those larger organizations, the Planned Parenthoods and stuff like that, folks that we know and we trust to do this work in our communities. But I think it's really important that Black women in particular, especially in a city like Memphis, where the population is mostly African American, have an opportunity not only to help ourselves, but to help our families and communities. And so since I didn't see that, my mother was like, why don't you continue to do the work that you were doing in Chicago? That's what I did. And Sister Reach came to be in October of 2011. We'll be celebrating almost 8 years of our work this coming October here in the city. So I'm extremely excited about that. And so we are a reproductive justice organization, the first of its kind in the state. And the reproductive justice framework was coined by 12 Black women in 1994, 25 years ago this year, who did not see our lived experiences and the issues that we navigate on a day-to-day basis really being recognized when the Clinton administration was trying to do healthcare reform initially. And so they wanted to make sure that this comprehensive understanding around healthcare would be offered to folks, but not just any folks, but the folks who don't get it, like African American folks, Latinx people, poor folks, homeless folks, young people, seniors. A lot of times we don't think that seniors are having sex or that they need this type of access, but they do. They need to have education as well about their bodies. They need to have access to condoms, those types of things. And so I came to this work as a woman who needed reproductive health services. I was misled by a place where I thought I was going to get one particular service, and it wasn't that service. And so I ended up meeting this sister who was running this reproductive justice organization in Chicago, and really kind of kept my hands on her, and she kept her hands on me. She taught me about my body so that I could make some sound decisions about my reproductive health choices. And so, and I was like, wait a minute, you mean that the only thing that stands between me having a baby and not having a baby until I'm ready is just kind of understanding about my body being able to count? And she was like, yeah. And so that turned into opportunity to be on her board, and later that turned into a job.
Gotcha.
And so I got a chance to coin an entire curriculum for the Chicago Public Schools district around sex education, and later have been trying to do the same thing here in the city. So we work in schools, we work in churches, we work in community. We go places where folks don't want to go, to teach about sex education, and not just about sex education, but issues that impact why we have babies, why we don't have babies, why we don't feel happy or safe to have babies, really lifting up some of the economic issues, environmental issues that shift us in whether or not we want to parent or not. So we've been able to do that type of work and in these different spaces and places for almost 8 years here in the city.
Amazing. So you had a moment that actually turned into your movement.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times, some of the things that I try to share, especially on the radio show and when I go different places, how the things that happen to us are aligned with our purpose.
Absolutely.
A lot of things that we're seeing as a blip on the map or a blip on the radar, and that was one of those points. That was one of those flags that God is leading you towards.
Absolutely.
Where you are to be, where you're to serve.
Absolutely.
So how has this been a difficult journey? Because when you're talking about people's bodies, when you're talking about sex education, a lot of times people are silent on that. And we want you to be silent too. We want everybody to be quiet about it. You know what I mean? I'm uncomfortable. Oh Lord, they should just say sex on the radio. You know, oh God. You know, so we so we're uncomfortable. Yeah. Not that we don't need to know, but we're uncomfortable. What does that feel like to be in that space where I have what you need, and you won't even listen to me?
Well, we've had a little bit of both. We've had opportunities to get into spaces and places. I mean, we've been able to go into Church of God in Christ churches and teach sex education. That's something that's the road less traveled for thinking that folks will be able to enter a Kojic church and do that, right?
Yeah.
But we've also not been able to make the inroads that we want, depending on the fact that, well, I mean, we are still Southerners, you know, and folks don't want to talk about their sex. They don't want to talk about sexuality. We're in the Bible Belt. And sometimes that makes it a little difficult for us to get into these spaces and places. But I think one of the things that we have been able to do as Black women is leverage that Blackness, leverage the fact that we're not doing this from the top down. We're doing this from the community up. You know, we are the community that we serve. We are the people that we serve. And that has been a way for us to help to build relationships with our faith community, with parents, with young people. You know, we don't work with young people from this. You know, I would never go with what I have on today to talk to young people. I'm gonna have on my T-shirt. I'm gonna have on my jeans.
You look like me.
We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna talk about sex and sexuality. We're gonna talk about values and healthy relationships, and that's really been able to help us get there. I think also being a parent, being able to bring every person who's employed at Sister Reach as a full-time staffer is a mama right now.
Gotcha.
That hadn't always been the makeup of our employees, but that is it, right? You know, so we are these mamas. We have children in Shelby County schools. We want to ensure that our babies get the type of education and information that they deserve from teachers that look like them, who have the experiences, and from communities that they're from. Those types of things. And so we leverage all of those kind of environmental issues, those things that bring us together and make us be more connected on a day-to-day basis, to leverage getting into these communities, getting into churches, getting into talking to parents. That's been really helpful for us. But yes, it's been difficult too. You know, just even dealing with the, you know, all Blackness ain't the same type of Blackness, if you will, you know, and folks kind of arrive at our Blackness from the ways that they think makes sense, right? Or we don't want to necessarily, come across too common with one another, but at the very baseline of what we need is information about our bodies, and we recognize that everybody doesn't come to the same understanding from the same place. You got it from grandmama, mama to here, but that might mean that you're still doing something unsafe like douching, right? Something that we need to teach you why that's not a good practice. Or you might only think it's important to teach boys about using condoms, but see, we do a different thing at Sister Reach. We teach boys about how to chart a girl's menstrual cycle, just the way we teach girls how to use a condom. Why? Because we don't want anybody in the sexual experience unprepared. We want to make sure that everybody has the information and the knowledge, that they feel empowered. You know, we like flip on the light, stop trying to do everything in the dark. You want to know your partner, you want to see them. We're having conversations with young people about this, like, what is your baseline value? What do you believe? Not just what parents, mom and dad say. What makes you uncomfortable? Those types of things, so that we can, you know, really try to engage young people in a way also that calls forth their independence and their ability, also to be self-determining about their bodies as well.
You know, you said something. You said a lot of somethings, but you said you mentioned healthy relationships, being in healthy relationships.
Yes.
And as I kept listening, one of the things that dropped for me was that we aren't always watching healthy relationships.
No.
As youth, as teenagers, as young adults, as 40-year-olds, we don't always have that model of healthy relationships.
That's right.
So we are perpetuating these relationships that we think are normal that are abnormal.
That's right.
So how do we help our youth to understand what a healthy relationship looks like?
What we've been trying to do is engage young people on these different types of scenarios. You know, what is a healthy relationship? And we give them even visual examples to be able to pick and choose that these are the things that make sense. They add their own. They know if mom and dad are arguing and that makes them uncomfortable, that's not healthy.
Gotcha.
They are recognizing that if somebody's calling me out of my name, you know, first of all, I don't have to answer to it, but I also don't have to engage them in any type of a manner manner, even before there's even
that's
a
hard.
conversation about sex, right?
Yeah,
Just like,
yeah,
how
yeah.
are we dealing with one another as friends?
Yeah.
Do I
As
trust
people,
you
as
as
humans.
people, as
Yeah,
human beings, right? And we're not only having those conversations with young people, but we're having them with adults. Because again, we also understand that we are also copying behaviors that we've learned from our parents that weren't also all that great. You know, I was just talking to someone about, you know, talking to an adult saying that how all men cheat. Well, all men don't cheat. And if that's the baseline that we go from, then we'll never have healthy relationships with men, right? So we've got to be able to have, what is our bottom, you know, what is our foundation, and let's build from there. So it hasn't been super hard to have those conversations, and actually young people are far more in tune with the things that make them feel comfortable or uncomfortable. Maybe sometimes they feel even more empowered to articulate that than adults at times. But
we've learned shame.
We've learned shame, right? We've taught shame.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when we teach shame about how we look, our bodies, how we speak, how we show up, what we dress, how our hair looks, you know, the clothes that we choose, the friends that we have, where we go and have a good time. When we don't have a healthy baseline, everybody doesn't have to look the same.
Right.
Everybody have to do the same thing, right? And just because, you know, address the same way. We start having those types of conversations, and then we kind of move into some of the more important pieces of sex and sexuality and sexual relations and how we handle one another in those ways.
Okay, so you had a have you already had the Intersection Awards?
We have. We just had it last Saturday.
Okay, so you know, I told you I was stalking.
I see you. Okay, I see you were checking us out. You were checking us out. Go ahead.
I was like, I know Dr. Sherilyn Major.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was on there.
Oh, yes.
So tell me how that came to be and how you choose these amazing people that you honor.
Absolutely. So even though Sister Reach is the first reproductive justice organization in the state, the understanding of reproductive justice, what it means, the fact that the leadership of this framework, not only being by Black women initially, but by Black and brown folks and folks who are marginalized, queer folks as well. It's really important to us to not come into, and even though, like I said, I lived here as a child. Of course, I'm not a Memphis native, but we lived here from the early 80s until this point. And what I recognize is that reproductive justice isn't a brand new concept. It just has a name that is new.
Gotcha.
Sojourner Truth, we can go way back. You know, we can go back to Ain't I a Woman? Right. Really looking at those intersections of her Blackness and her womanhood, and trying to look at where both of those intersect and are honored. Right. So we also recognize that just because we're teaching sex education as Black women with a reproductive justice lens doesn't mean that we're the first ones that were teaching sex education. That we were the first ones connected and committed to the sisters in our community and brothers in our community to make sure that they have what they need. And so every year now, for the last 4 years, we have taken time to identify people in our community who were doing this work without that name or title.
Gotcha.
And we honor their work, and we say that this is, you know, for let's use Dr. Majors as an example, her empowering women in the community, that is something for us that is also reproductive justice, and she's been working at that intersection of woman empowerment and faith, you know, for the years that she's been doing that work. We've honored my own pastor, Dr. Gina Stewart over at Christ Missionary Baptist Church. You know, what we know Dr. Stewart to be isn't she amazing? And she is also an advocate around HIV. And so, you know, lifting up the fact that that's been the work that she's done in this community, and that she cares for folks who experience homelessness. She makes sure that there's a community garden in South Memphis, those types of things. That's the work on the ground.
Gotcha.
You know, so those are some of the folks that we honored our first Latinx person this year, Inez Negrete from Casa de Luz. And we also honored Jasmine Tazaki, the first trans woman this year. Because all of the folks on the margins matter in the work that they're doing in the communities. And so we want to be able to lift up all of those folks who are doing the work. And so, you know, some of them are following us today on Facebook Live, and we're excited about them as well. But we are we will continue to do that, because we also want to not only say, yes, sister, we see you, but we also want to bring folks into a bit of a network with folks that they've never seen. We always honor an elected official. We've honored Representative Akbari, or now Senator Akbari, Representative Karen Camper, and we just honored former Representative Johnny Turner in this last one. You know, just honoring those folks who have done the work, who are already on the front lines. We're new to this as far as Memphis, not out to the work, but we definitely want to honor those who do this work alongside of us. Yeah. We don't, we don't do it alone. We know that we don't do it alone.
Right. It is definitely a community.
Yes,
so listen, we're going to keep the conversation going on social media. Tag me or use hashtag SOAR901. If you ever want to submit a question, you can do that on Coach Karen Facebook page or on CoachKaren.com. If you're listening or watching Facebook Live, you have a question, go ahead and drop it out there. We're going to take a quick break to catch our breath, and we'll be back. Keep it locked here on 88.5 for more conversation. Plus, the Raspberry Letter is up next.
Yes.
And just like that, it's 2026.
Right. Hey there, Victor. Hey, I see you, Liz. Hey there, Dwayne. Hey, Sherilyn, I saw you. Well. Karen Spencer McGee, I see you. Hey, Eric, how are you? Hey, y'all. Hey, Jazan, how are you? Tune in. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. I appreciate it. Coach Karen wants to say hey.
Hey, y'all. Hey, Dwayne was here last week before
was
last.
He?
Yeah,
awesome.
Dwayne was on the show. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hardcore advocate. Love me some Dwayne.
Oh, yeah.
Dwayne gonna get it done. He's going to get it done. Believe that, honey. Okay. And that's one of my board members there, Victor Hannah's sister, Reed.
Okay.
Woo, woo, woo. Hey, Victor. Yes. I see y'all, folks. I see you. Great talking points. Thank you. Awesome. And so Coach Karen talking about all the good stuff, y'all. So we get to talk about everything. I'm excited. Hi, Ramirez. Hola. How are you?
So yeah, this is good.
Elizabeth says, "Hey, Coach Karen Todd."
Hey, when you coming on, Coach Karen?
I know that's why, so she can talk about the well station, honey, and she can talk about the work that she does in self-care.
So we need you.
Come talk about it, Liz.
Your whole name, Elizabeth Dorse Merriweather. We want you on Soul with Coach Karen, talk about the well station, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So we're going to reach out to you. If I don't reach out to you, reach out to me. Because sisters reach. Come on, somebody.
Come on and reach with the sisters. Come on. See, that's what I'm talking about. Yay.
So I want to talk, I do want to touch this Senate Judiciary hearing. Because I know a piece of it, but not much.
But so you know the subject matter, and that's cool to talk about. I just want to make sure.
I don't know.
So it's around the 6-week abortion ban. So I just want to lift that up too.
I don't know. Kathy, can we talk? She had another word.
No, I'm listening to sister.
Okay.
Hopeless didn't do anything for me, so I'm listening to sister.
Sister's got at least one curse word in there, so I Can Make You Be a Man is probably more appropriate. Or Everywhere I Look. Everywhere I Look is inspirational.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you got a minute. What were you saying now?
When she went to the Senate Judiciary hearing, which went before that committee, she talked about the 6-week abortion ban. Is that something we can talk about on the SCS station, or
we probably better not talk about that?
Okay.
Yeah,
not a problem.
Okay, so make sure.
What does Ms. Scott think about Dr.
But we may want to talk about how she went and how there was a discussion, but that's,
I can keep it without,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, without going into detail.
Because I want
I can connect that to why we do our work.
Right.
Okay. Because I want to cover how she works.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Exactly. That she in the grind.
There's a legislative.
She just posted on Facebook.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay. Cool. We can do that.
We're at 20 seconds.
Okay.
I like when the sisters get around to work, and baby, we can get it done. We're gonna talk about how we need to talk about it to get it talked about. Come on.
9.
Mm-hmm. You are listening to 88.5, the voice of Shelby County Schools. Welcome back to Soul with Coach Karen. Our topic today is reaching our sisters, and I've got Cherisse Scott with Sister Reach sitting in with me. We are having I wish you could hear, what we said in between, but you can't. It's okay. It's all right. You can't know everything. That Big Mama said you can't know everything. Just know what you need to know. Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things that I wanted to talk about, in your bio, I'm going back to your bio, it talked about you have presented to the United Nations.
Sure.
You were featured in O Magazine, recognized by Essence. So you are not, in what I say, just posting on Facebook.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because we got some gangster social justice people on Facebook.
Yeah, we got
and
some
then,
Facebook activists. So, man.
Facebook go down, we shot.
Oh my God.
But beyond that, you do the work.
Yes.
You get in with the work. So you were recently, I don't know how recently, but you went to a Senate Judiciary hearing, and it didn't go the way I would have hoped it to go, or anybody. But because it didn't, there was still some viralness.
Absolutely.
Even in what happened. So can you kind of tell me how you got there and how they treated you when you were there?
So what some of the work that we do is definitely legislative work. We do policy work, and what that means for us, because we are a 501c3 and we don't lobby per se, but what we do is lift up issues that impact the communities that we serve.
Gotcha.
And in this instance, we were lifting up a bill that is going to impact Black women in particular, Black women and girls. Unfortunately, as the only Black woman who was allowed to speak on that during that hearing, I was cut off after lifting up some of the intersectional things, including the way that racism, colonialism, white supremacy, white privilege play in how folks are marginalized in our state. The chairman didn't appreciate that. He cut me off. He tried to have me removed. You know, for whatever reason, that didn't happen with me being removed. And because I was cut off, that went viral. I think it's really important to lift up why we do our work, because we recognize that at the end of the day, many Tennesseans have been abandoned. And though we are Black women and we do this work as Black women first, we don't just work on behalf of Black women. We work on behalf of marginalized people across race, class, sexual orientation, gender, religious preference, and you know, ability, all of those things. And one of the things that's really important to our work here at Sister Reach is comprehensive sex education and young people having access to it. When we don't have access to comprehensive education, then young people have to navigate decisions that they just should not have to navigate. And that not only means whether to be a parent, but oftentimes that means not being a parent and what it looks like to have access in either way. And so for us, we want to make sure that, you know, we don't just lift that up, but we wanted to lift up the fact that we live in a state that did not expand Medicaid, so we don't have access to health care. We live in a state where many of the young people who are in SCS are also undocumented or have parents who are undocumented. And so to have your parents, you know, you come home from work and mom and dad have been deported is a whole other ball game. And what that looks like for youth to then have to navigate ICE detention, Department of Children's Services, you know, all of those things matter to us. If, you know, for folks to be choosing between whether or not they're going to live and be able to pay health care or die because they can't, is the reality of what's happening in the state of Tennessee. Those are some of the issues, among others, that I was trying to lift up, because I didn't say it in a way, I guess, that was respectable enough for the chairman and for the Republican Party in the Senate Judiciary Committee. They shut me down. They probably should have just let me speak, because it may not have gotten the level of traction that it did. It would have been local. It would have been local. You would have said it. And now it's national. Right. But I appreciate everybody who has reached out to us to support us. I also appreciate every faith leader, my own pastor included, folks in the faith community who have reached out, because clearly it seems as if folks have been feeling bullied and not feeling like they've got a voice to say, hey, I sat there as a Black woman who also identified as a Christian, to say to folks who say that they love God and are Christians, that they are crafting policies the way that they are. And I'm saying not so, because if you were, then it would come from a space of compassion. It would be culturally sensitive. You would have mercy attached to it. And you stopping people from having healthcare access shows no mercy. Then you also stopping them from getting the education so they won't need the healthcare access shows no mercy. And so, you know, calling out the hypocrisy of the ways that our Tennessee legislature, both on the Democratic side and the Republican side, because we don't have just Republicans doing wrong. We got some Democrats that sit in those seats and are harming us with some of the policies, as if they don't live and work in these communities, that the voters that they represent aren't poor or marginalized or in harm's way, unemployed, underemployed. We got some real situations happening in our city, in our state. And there are also surrounding states that depend on the state of Tennessee for healthcare service, and they weren't getting that. And so that's what I tried to do as a Black woman, to lift that up, because if we don't, as the Black community here, then understand that there is no Superman that's going to come in and save us. If we don't do it ourselves, no one's going to help us.
We wait on Superman and Martin Luther King.
That's right. And okay,
who's the next Martin Luther King? Well, no,
exactly. And it's not going to necessarily be another Martin Luther King, right? It's not going to necessarily be another Medgar Evers or Malcolm X. It's not going to be, you know, another Shirley Chisholm per se. Well, hopefully we'll get another Shirley Chisholm. I don't know. But I'm just saying that
we want to be unbothered. We'll be unbothered.
You know what I'm saying?
We kind of want to be that.
But and shout out to Senator Katrina Robinson, right, who was trying to hold it down in the committee,
right.
As the only black woman sitting on that committee too. That matters as well for her marginalization. And so I think that, we're just not being realistic in the state. And what we try to do at Sister Reach is offer a very realistic point of view about all of the things that impact our families, our communities, teen pregnancy, unintended pregnancy, HIV, herpes, syphilis, all the stuff, poverty. Folks, if somebody came to school today hungry, somebody's going to go home to a dark house with no air conditioning in a hot city.
And it's difficult to learn.
And so we just got to be real
when you come hungry.
And we've been able to do the work that we've been able to do. We've been able to get into very difficult churches that some might think, because we have a very realistic understanding of how we do our work. This is real. And folks need help at the end of the day. And so how can we be of service to you as a faith community? How can we be of service to you we've got teachers who still call us like, I don't know what to do. We've got young people who are deciding to have sex at school, but what we're not having a conversation about is they are navigating something that is very natural to this time of their lives.
Right.
How we're handling it, though, is what I got a problem. We cannot handle that punitively and send them to juvenile, because all of a sudden now they got a juvenile record for something that should not even be listed as sexual assault or whatever. We've seen too many instances in our schools where young people are really just trying to navigate puberty. And because we can't get to them. Right now, the law says that if we teach anything outside of the mandated abstinence-based education law, that we can be fined up to $500 a child.
So the Sister Reach can be fined.
Sister Reach can be fined.
So let me ask you this, because you mentioned getting into churches, and sometimes it's hard to get into certain churches.
Absolutely.
So you have the Reproductive Justice and Faith Training Tour.
That's the tour, right?
So what is, not necessarily what is taught in the tour, but what is that? And how can, if a church wants Sister Reach to come in and work with their adults, work with their youth ministry, or whatever that looks like, tell me how they can do that.
So we've got a few programs that are faith and justice centered in that way. The Reproductive Justice and Faith one is the first one I'll talk about, and that's where we are working with faith communities that want to do social justice work and or advocates who want to work in faith communities to make sure that they have an understanding of human rights overall, reproductive justice specifically, and then how, and give them strategies and tools on how to work together. And then we actually go through actual scriptures as a part of our curriculum to show Jesus as, this radical, revolutionary, compassionate, merciful Savior. Who reached for those who nobody was reaching for, whether or not it was a prostitute, whether or not it was the leper. It doesn't. We use some of those scriptures to make the point, and we kind of go through those, and we kind of mine the text, if you will, for opportunities where we can see how we can bring that to bear in our everyday lives. How can we create a safe space for testimony service, if you will, for somebody to come out to the church that isn't harmful and punitive? How can we create a safe space for a pregnant girl that doesn't make her stand up before the church as if the church is going to give her I can issue the judgment and or pardon her sins, right? When instead of how do we work around helping our young people have an understanding about healthy relationships and holy living in the same breath, right? So that's kind of the way that this training is set up, to be able to give us tools for right now ministry. The other thing that we also offer is what we call Vacation Body School. We make a play off of Vacation Bible School, where it's sex education. We have some scriptures that are embedded within the way that we teach. We teach about healthy relationships, having an understanding around having a value-based set, if you will, with young people, singles ministries. It translates all the way around, because public health information translates across age, of course, and gender and the things. So we do Vacation Body School. That's more sex education centered for folks. So that's we can do that in a day. But this reproductive justice and faith training we do over 2 days, and we work with folks, and we even show them how we can give them skills for sermon prep. We can give them skills for for prayers or litanies, those types of things. Is the training for the pastor? Is the training for the congregation? Or both.
The training is okay. So
it can be for both.
Whoever's in the audience.
Whoever's in the audience. Okay. We've had atheists take this training. We've had people of faith to take this training.
Gotcha.
And it's been really awesome.
One
opportunity to heal. We've heard things like, if somebody would have taught Jesus like this to me, I might still be in church. like that. Like that matters. That matters to me. That absolutely matters to me. And so we try to do that in a way that is loving and affirming and inclusive. And so that's really important to us.
You know, you do so much. And in my mind, my soul that I just said was capital S and a capital O. You do you do so much. So we've got Sister Reach, we've got the things that you stand for, but we also have, I'm going to go into the Memphis the soul music festival.
Awesome.
I'm going to slide over here because when I read your intro on your Facebook page, I'm trying to tell you I was out there. You are also a singer-songwriter. See, the people don't know. See, Soul with Coach, we bring this stuff to you.
Come on, do your research. I appreciate the research. I do.
So,
I do.
So you have coming up the Memphis Soul Music Festival. Tell me what that's about, and then who one of the special.
Okay, awesome. So the Memphis Soul Music Festival, yay! This is going to be our inaugural festival. This is a fundraiser for Sister Reach.
And just so you know, Joyce Cowles is on Facebook Live over here. She says
hey,
she does
Joyce.
a lot and she can sing too, is what that says there. But yeah, go ahead.
And so we are, this is a one large fundraiser for us to raise money for some of the programming that we have specific to, we're trying to get housing.
Gotcha.
For especially mothers who are drug using mothers, many times because when they are going through rehabilitation, have to lose custody of their kids. We want to try to make sure that they have custody. We want to also double some of that housing for domestic violence folks because we just don't have enough, housing and beds for folks who are experiencing domestic violence and intimate partner violence. But we're so this is the thing, right? Everybody kind of has their signature. We've been trying to figure out what is our signature thing. And so because I'm an artist, this brings together the music part of my life, the art as well as the activism, so artivism, if you will, for us to be able to offer this to the city of Memphis, bringing some of the folks that you know and love in the city who are performers, but because my music also transcends internationally as well as nationally. I got a chance to bring in some of my friends to be a part of this, and we get to bring Eric Roberson this year.
Awesome.
This will be the second time we brought Eric to town. We did it a couple years ago for a very specific project, but this one is for everybody to come to and enjoy. And so Eric Roberson will be our headliner on Sunday, which is going to be our Soul Day. We're going to have poetry as well and some other awesome goodies.
What's the weekend?
November 2nd and 3rd.
November 2nd and 3rd.
November 2nd is our Gospel Day, and our headliner for that day is the amazing Callie Day, whom I love. And she's going to be performing she closes us out on day 1, and Eric closes us out on day 2. We got a couple of cool DJs going to be with us coming in from Chicago, as well as some of our own here in the city.
So is there anybody in this room that's participating?
If you want to be participating, I hope you participate.
I'm talking about the one that I'm talking
about.
to.
Yes, I shall be singing. Yes, I'm going to be singing as well. Yes. I see Sherilyn. Sherilyn says she's got her ticket. Yay. I will be performing as well. One of my new songs from my upcoming CD. I've got 2 CDs out. The first one is called Moans. The second one is called Soul Journey. And on this third upcoming album, I don't have a name for it yet. It just seems like I can't stop writing because, you know, the world is happening. I know every artist is trying to figure out, like, what do I talk about? What do I sing or write about?
What do I give voice to?
So I'm looking forward to one of my new tunes coming out to perform that and a couple others for us.
I would like for us to listen to one of your. This is not one of the new tunes. I don't think. This is one of the old ones. And I can't see all the way across, so I don't.
It's gonna be Everywhere I Look. Okay, cool. That comes off of Moans. That was released in 2003. Everywhere I Look talks about the conditions of our community. I've always been in that vein, I guess.
All right.
So
well, you're listening to 88.5. Let's get into it. So I'm supposed to do Raspberry Letter, but I'm excited about what we're doing, so I'm going to do it.
Okay.
So we'll hit the Raspberry Letter right quick.
Awesome.
Okay, coming out of here?
Coming out of here.
Okay, you
and
do that on top of Minty, or you do that on top of something else?
It's something else that I don't know the name of.
Okay.
It's not in my hotkeys. Oh. He has this song that I think somebody deleted.
Okay, produce.
Hey, y'all.
So I want to do...
I see you, Michelle. Hey, Michelle.
The Raspberry Letter, of course, that's just...
Hey, Dee Dee.
And then I'll go into the soul mode. 2045.
This is 3 minutes. We got 3 minutes and 27 seconds on this song.
So I'll come out of this song to the Raspberry
I do
Letter.
like this song better than the other two I was listening to.
So we'll come out of this, go to raspberry letter, and then do we do a commercial or something? Do we got something we can do? Because we can do that after the raspberry letter.
Yes.
And then I'll come back with the soul moment, and then we're gonna wrap up.
Yes, we'll do that.
Okay.
Yes, Rodney B. Merriweather. Let me pull up this information too.
Yeah, I thought it was important that they know about the legislative part.
Yeah.
Without going into details, you know what I'm
Thanks,
saying?
Shirley.
I think you guys did really good at that. I think you guys did really good.
I think she did really good.
Yeah.
I'm along for the ride.
I know.
Would you?
Ain't no heavy lifting.
Can you pull up also Memphis Soul Music Festival on Facebook? Or it would take you out your page. They take you out your page and take me out my page too.
Maybe I go to.
So if I go, let me pull up this internet again. Pull it up on my computer.
I can put it up on my phone. Oh, how much time I got?
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. In 2 minutes.
Okay. And you said Memphis?
Memphis Soul Music Festival.
On Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's got the Eventbrite where folks can get tickets and everything is there.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there we go.
There it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Which I guess you got. We can't see that.
I just want to make sure I got the MSMF. I want to make sure I got the call letters for folks for the Eventbrite.
Mm-hmm. Can you see it?
The information on tickets.
Click on the November 2nd one over there. Oh, you got it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. MSMF19.eventbrite.com. Yes.
Okay.
I'm just trying to make sure I look at the.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you.
50 seconds.
Okay.
And
Thanks, Sherilyn.
45 seconds.
Mm-hmm. I got it right here in case we need to look at it. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's exactly what I
Because when we
need.
come back to the end, we're going to go back
20
and
seconds.
give all of that.
When you come out of here, you're going to do the soar moment, right?
Raspberry
Okay.
level.
Raspberry.
So we just,
Right.
you can
Yeah,
go back to
10
senses or
seconds.
minty or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, come through Memphis music.
Yes, you were listening to Cherisse music. She's in her, yeah. That was my guest. That is my guest, Cherisse Scott. That was, tell me the name of that again.
Everywhere I look.
Because I was grooving like, oh, okay, I'll be at the Memphis Soul Music Festival.
You're streaming on all of the stuff, all
All
of
of
the
the
digital,
stuff, all the things, all the
Yeah.
places. You can make sure you get her music. So you are more than Sister Reach. And I am amazed at how God reaches through in different ways. So whether it's ministry, whether it's nonprofit, whether it's music, you know what I mean? That just how we should, and this is not the sore moment, but how we should be able to be used. Use all of me.
all of the things.
Whatever,
Yeah.
whatever I
I'm
have.
learning to use all of the things more and more.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
what do you think had prohibited you from doing that? Was it you? Or
Well,
was it,
I definitely feel so deeply connected to my work at Sister Reach that I can say I have neglected doing as much music as I would normally do.
Gotcha.
But now I'm finally, Sister Reach is almost 8 years old. I'm getting an opportunity to kind of it's in a coasting phase now. Now we're expanding and we're doing great things, but
Right.
now I can focus and bring those things together in a more cohesive way that doesn't divide me into a million pieces. So it's really good to be able to also do the music and do the activism at the same time.
And it's good music. It's
Good
not
music,
just,
yeah.
random music. It's
Yeah,
good music.
yeah.
So we always have what we call the raspberry letter. And why is the letter raspberry? Because someone already has the strawberry letter. So this letter today, as we were talking about it earlier, found that this letter actually speaks to another part of you. So I love that I get to do a deep dive into, I should have called this, who is Cherisse Scott. This should be the topic of this whole sword thing here today. But the letter says, Dear Raspberry Letter, I've been taking care of people all of my life. I am one of 9 children born to my parents in Mississippi, and though I am not the oldest, I started caring for other people at 16. I went to live with my grandmother at 16 to care for and assist her while she battled cancer. I've helped other family members over the years after that. Now it's time to care for my mother, and I am tired. It's not that I don't want to. I'm just simply tired. However, my siblings think I'm being selfish and unreasonable when I say to them it's their turn. I don't have it in me anymore. Caring for other people who are sick is physically, emotionally, and spiritually draining. Do you have any advice for me to get across to them to either do it themselves or help me to pay for someone to help because I can't anymore? Signed, Lost Cause.
Bless her heart. Bless her heart.
So is there anything you would say to this sister?
Wow. I just lost my mom last year, and one of the, thank you. And she was taking care of my grandmother. We had moved her from Detroit back here to Memphis, and so she's still in a nursing home, and I'm the oldest in my family, and it's kind of fallen on me to continue that work of supporting my grandmother. One thing I will say is, you have to put the responsibility back on people, and absolutely do not feel bad about taking care of yourself. I run an entire organization where I am gone 70% of the year. In other places, bringing information and education and light to the things that are happening here in the state of Tennessee. So I can't always go. I went to go see her yesterday. I took her some shrimp fried rice because that's her favorite thing, and those types of things. I tried to love on her, but you can't do it all. This is just one of those times when you got to tell folks it's time to step up. To know, like, if something were to happen to you, who would take care of mom, right? She's not just your mama; she's everybody's mama, right? And in this instance, she's not just my grandmother. She not only is my siblings' grandmother and my other cousins' grandmother, but she has a whole child outside of my mama alive, who can help to take care of her and our family as well. So I'm glad that we're here, and it's an honor, right? I think that's the other piece, the honor that you have to take care of a sick parent or a parent who is an elder, and you have to, somebody has to step in there to see it as such. It's an honor, and you got to get old too if God allow you to see this moment. And somebody's going to need, you're going to need someone to make sure you are eating and that you are clean and that you are safe, that your business is taken care of. And I just really look at my grandmother as a very vulnerable person now, when she is, I am her 40 years ago.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So I am her as far as the entrepreneur, as far as the, doing these things. And so I know my grandmother to be a very self-sufficient, independent woman who is a trailblazer in her own right. And so to see her be this dependent upon anyone, to me, should bring some level of compassion to others to really want to offer that. But it just doesn't always work that way. And yes, it is an uncomfortable thing. Folks don't want to do it. It is uncomfortable. It's going to make you go, outside of your comfort zone. You're going to have to give up some of your time, all of those things. But this is what it looks like for us to care for our elders, to care for ourselves. And like I said, you want someone to do the same thing for you. So I encourage the person who wrote the letter to really lift up to the family, like, this is the ultimatum. You're gonna have to. I'm not going to be able to. I need to have a particular level of self-care, right? Because the other part of this is that I also have a whole life outside of, I got a child in school who's a senior right now, he's got needs, and I've got a whole life that I have to attend to as well, and that it ought to be shared. It's not, it never kind of falls that way, but like I always say to folks, see, such and such is going to be the first one jumping over in the casket when that person dies, because you weren't there. But this is your moment.
We have not seen you.
And we've not seen you. So I would definitely, and then that's also sometimes the people who want to have a say-so on what happens to the money too. See, when that person,
with the inheritance.
Right, so we got little amens over here in the studio.
We got Kathy Hart working the controls today. We got some amens over here. Y'all just can't hear them.
So, that's my whole thing. Right now, I want to change. I want to get my grandmother transferred to another facility that I think will be a little bit better for her. And I've had a little pushback a little bit, and it's been a little difficult to get that done. Right. But I continue to try, and she knows that I'm trying, and I think that that's the thing that, you know, I'm sure your mom knows that you care and that you're trying, but it's just, you got to put the responsibility on others. It's not yours to handle as the Lone Ranger. It's unfair to ask for that.
It's a shared responsibility.
It's a shared responsibility.
She's a shared mother.
That's right.
So it's a shared responsibility. Listen, I hope she was listening, and I'm grateful that we could share a little wisdom. And I also hope it helps someone else who may be journeying down the same path. And a lot of us will journey down that path if we have not already. So listen, that was this week's Raspberry Letter. If you want to submit a letter or a question, go to the Coach Karen Facebook page or to CoachKaren.com. We will be right back after this short break with the Soar Moment. Don't move. Hold what you got. You're in the right place at the right time. Listen to the right station. This is Soar with Coach Karen on 88.5, the voice of Shelby County Schools.
Yes.
Now, you know I run my mouth. I always turn me down first. I miss when I start talking.
I was a mass comm major at MTSU.
Oh, that's me.
And right before I moved to Chicago, I had applied to do this, basically. And I didn't think I had gotten a job. I was literally with my last load of stuff out of Nashville, and got a call from one of the radio stations that, like, you got the job. I was like, honey, I'm gone now. But it's just so funny how I get a chance to still do radio and podcast stuff, and it's really cool. This is fun.
So Kia says, this sounds amazing event, Memphis Soul Music Festival. I'm going. Okay.
Awesome.
Joy said Moans is amazing. So we come back with Soul Moment. So this is my little thing.
Go ahead. Come on, little thing. This is a big thing.
Welcome back to Soar with Coach Karen. We are here now for the SOAR moment. SOAR stands for success over and above reason, because when you tap into the best version of your life, you open the doors to have success in every area of your life. And so when I sat down today and opened my laptop, well, last night I tried, I couldn't. So this morning, opened my laptop to write this week's SOAR moment. The first thing I typed was, these are interesting times. I am certain that they have always been interesting, but I guess I haven't always been who I am now, looking through the lens I have now at the times that we live in now. Now this SOAR moment is written for my sisters, but the concept of support goes beyond gender. Supporting others is not exclusive to women. It's not bound by race or by who you identify as. It's just about being human and sharing a part of you to uplift another human. But today, I'm reaching out to my sisters. You know, there's a quote that says, behind every successful woman is a tribe of successful women who have her back. It is time for you to secure your tribe. It's time for you to secure your tribe. We all need someone to lean on, to depend on, to call on. In these interesting times, I want to reach for my sisters, and I also want some sisters reaching for me. I want someone to understand who I am and where I am on this journey called life, and I want to be able to do the same. I don't want us so caught up in the weight that we carry that we forget to share the burden of others. I don't want us to be so strong that we can't receive help, or so broken that we can't give it. I want us to be the balance for us. If my sister needs me, I should be there. If your sister needs you, will you be there? Can you be present for others even while you're being present for yourself? In these interesting times, we need to learn to reach out. Now, I'm not saying that there's no help available. What I'm saying is, in these interesting times, everybody wants to help, but nobody wants to help each other help. Let me see if I can break that down for you. There are people with big hearts and brilliant minds who want to do something to positively impact the lives of others, but we can't seem to always get the business owners and the churches and the 501c3s to collaborate in what they offer. This statement is not all inclusive, but neither is it exclusive. I can't say if it's because everyone wants their own credit, or if the system is set up to pit us against each other, competing for the same dollars, for the same resources, to help the same types of people. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of both, but in these interesting times, we need to support our sisters who are reaching our sisters. In these interesting times, it's less about who came up with it and more about who was blessed by it. It's less about my name being in lights and more about the issues that we face being pushed and exposed in the light. My sisters, we must learn to share our light. I remember preaching a sermon once, and I had 7 people standing in front of me with a candle. I used a lighter to light the first candle, and we talked about that first candle. We talked about her light illuminated the room. Then slowly the other 6 women walked over to her, and they lit their candle, and they would light their candle and stand beside her, and the next person would light the candle. And the point that I was making was that even though she used her light to light other candles, it never made her light less dim. Her light didn't go out because she shared it with somebody else. Now, that was a powerful moment for everyone in the room, but the thing that moved me most is while I was teaching and giving the explanation, the first sister with the candle had tears streaming down her face, and when I asked her about it, she said, I've been protecting my light and not sharing it. Sisters, we are more alike than we are different, and we need each other to survive, but what do we do when we are stuck between protecting our light and sharing our light? I don't have the answer, but I know we need to talk about it. I will continue to reach out for you. Please keep continuing to reach out for me. Let's reach out. Let's reach down. Let's reach up. Let's reach our individual destinies, and let's reach them together. That's the SOAR moment, and I'm sticking to it.
Awesome.
All right.
You
What I got
gotta come
going
back
on?
and close out, right?
Oh, child, it's 1 o'clock. Yeah, I could have came on back. I didn't look at the time. My
Oh,
bad.
that's awesome.
I could have
that's
kept
all
on.
right. We're gonna come back in a few.
Oh, water.
Oh, yeah.
Water me.
Go ahead. Then.
Did you say water you?
Water me, please.
Awesome.
Yes. That was well said.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well said. Okay. We're gonna go back in. And
I'm ready.
3,
In case you need that MES.
2.
We have come to the end of the hour. You are listening to 88.5. You're listening to SOAR with Coach Karen. I have the amazing Cherisse Scott sitting in with me. We have actually started the next hour because we got excited about it. It got good to us. So I certainly want to thank you guys for listening. I want to thank Cherisse for being here. I want you to tell the people whatever you need them to know, where they need to find you, how they need to get tickets to the Memphis Soul Festival, all that good, wonderful stuff.
Awesome. You can definitely find us online, sisterreach.org, SISTERREACH. If you are moved to invest in our work, please do. We would appreciate any investment. And also, one of those investments looks like supporting the Memphis Soul Music Festival. You can get your tickets right now on msmf19.eventbrite.com. That's M as in Mary, S as in Sam, M as in Mary, F as in Festival 19, eventbrite.com. And we have different packages, 1-day passes as well as 2-day passes for folks. And you can get that information from us as well.
And I'll also have the information on the Coach Karen page.
Okay.
So listen, let's keep the conversation going by sharing your thoughts on social media. Tag me or use the hashtag SOAR901. Join the Facebook page at Coach Karen Todd, or go to the website CoachKaren.com. 2 R's in Karen, 1 for real and 1 for relevant. It's time for me to go, but it's time for you to live a life that delivers purpose, promise, and power. It's time for you to soar. We've got some great music coming up next. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the midday lunchbox. Kavanje will be back, and I will see you on the radio next Tuesday at noon on the only station you and your family can agree on, 88.5 FM. I'm sorry. I normally tell people.
Amazing.
I was just telling you don't
Thanks for
mention
I
tuning
normally
in,
tell
y'all.
them that we don't mention costs.
Right, that's what I was saying. Don't
Oh,
mention the
awesome.
cost.
Okay, awesome.
And I apologize. I normally tell people that.
Oh, okay, no
And
problem.
then I kept thinking, oh, I got it up here. She probably gonna say the cost, and that's why I was like, don't.
That's totally fine. So thanks for tuning in, y'all, from Facebook. I appreciate you. And yes, go get your tickets right now for the Memphis Soul Music Festival, msmf19.eventbrite.com. And another shout out to Coach Karen and her team in here today.
Amazing.
Yay. Excited to be here. And also, we're going to have some tickets. We're going to be leaving with 88.5 coming up really soon. So for folks who are tuning in here, definitely she'll be saying it later on. So y'all know it'll be coming. But thank you. Thanks again for having me. I appreciate y'all. This is great.
It was my pleasure. Awesome.
And thanks for playing my music. Y'all play the girls' music on the radio.
Right.
Man. Peace, y'all.